Wow, ci siamo tutti. Caspita, l'Hyperloop interessa. Chi sa che cos'è l'Hyperloop? Ok, no problem. Abbiamo chi ce lo spiega adesso. Un giorno Elon Musk, che è considerato uno dei migliori imprenditori al mondo, quello di SpaceX, ce l'avete presente, Tesla, un giorno è uscito con un'idea di fare questa tecnologia che ha definito Hyperloop. E a questo punto ha aperto la possibilità di svilupparla, ha messo in pratica, in rete il progetto, dicendo chi vuole svilupparla è benvenuto. Sembrava diciamo, un'idea folle, pazzesca, in realtà ci sono 3 società che stanno sviluppando questo tipo di tecnologia che è destinata a cambiare la mobilità drasticamente. E oggi abbiamo il fondatore e CEO di una di queste 2 società, una delle più forti, si chiama TransPod, e gli diamo un grande benvenuto perché effettivamente ci spiega e ci fa vedere qualche cosa che un po' di tempo fa era pura fantascienza e oggi invece iniziano a testarla. È qui con noi Sebastien Gendron.
Morning, everyone. I'm glad to be here this morning. I hope you had a good time and you had a good break. So now we're going to talk about the future of transportation and what it's been called so far Hyperloop. So I'm representing one of the 3 companies working on that as of today, as the future of transportation. So we'll go in details. And my objective is to give you a good overview on how that system will work and how it's becoming the future of transportation and convince you that I'm not talking about science fiction. So, Hyperloop. First question is, why do we need a 5th mode of transportation? So just I'll try to go back in time and remind you what we have so far. So first question is, how many modes of transportation do we have today? So as I'm not going to ask every one of you, I'll give you the answer. We have 4 modes of transport. So boats, cars, airplane, and trains. So boats, they've been invented, if I'm not mistaken, 800 years ago. Trains, we had the first railway journey in 1804. Cars, we had the first combustion engines invented in 1807. And in 1903, we had the first flight done by the Wright brothers in the US. So as you can see, it's been quite a while we have been those new modes of transport. And today, clearly, they are slow, they are expensive, and they are harmful to the environment. So we are now in the 21st century, and it's time to reinvent the way we commute and to have a new transportation mode, which is clearly more efficient than one we have. So, just to make sure or to convince you, that's the slide, which is kind of giving you a bit of overview on how we use our energy today. And as you can see at the bottom, and we get at the right-hand side, you have pretty much 30% of that energy is used for transportation. And out of those 30%, the way we use it, we're using petrol energy, so for 40% total energy today, which is quite a lot. And as you know, we have some climate challenges moving forward. So it's again time to reinvent the way we commute with a new system. So Hyperloop, how does it work? It's actually pretty simple. It's an idea which has been around for more than 100 years. The initial concept started to pop up at the beginning of last century. So it's pretty much putting a vehicle in a vacuum tube. So it's a vehicle the size of a train coach. You put it in a vacuum tube. Why in a vacuum? Just to remove friction, and then you can achieve speeds up to 1,000 kilometers an hour. So it's kind of the equivalent of being at 40 kilometers above ground, so it's almost at the space level. So our company today, so we're based in Toronto. We started to work on that in 2015. I'm glad to tell you that we have investors from Italy. I'll go more in details at the end of the presentation with more specific names. Again, vehicles which travel in vacuum tubes, speeds up to 1,200 kilometers an hour. Automated vehicle, we're talking about the future of mobility and autonomous vehicles. It's part of it. First application will be freight. So we'll transport cargo first, and we get interest as of today from different governments around the world. And clearly with an objective to reduce carbon emissions. The way it works. So we're kind of halfway between a train and an aircraft. And when I'm telling you that it's not science fiction, all the technology today exists, and it's a matter of doing a good integration work. As an example, the cabin will be pressurized like on an aircraft, and we're currently working with companies which are developing that technology for Boeing and Airbus. So we're kind of integrating that. It's aircraft control based, so we're using same technology as the one used on an aircraft to control the vehicle on the 3 axes, so pitch, yaw, and roll. Advanced power transmission, which can be similar to what we have for an high-speed rail vehicle. That technology actually, and the levitation system, we could actually use as well the technology developed for the maglev train. Our objective is to get something much cheaper, but that's something which has been developed again in Japan with the bullet trains you may know. So today the work we're doing in Toronto is really to integrate everything and to make it happen. So in terms of timeline, we have a 3-5 years timeline to do the engineering work, to have the approval by 2020, 2021 from one transportation agency. We started to work with TransPod Canada to get it approved. And as being pragmatic, we don't see, unfortunately, even if we're doing an excellent work, we don't see that new transportation system to be for passengers first. Agencies like TransPod Canada won't approve that, so we're targeting freight. To give you an example, we have today, between Montreal and Toronto, which is one main corridor, 10,000 trucks per day. So having high-speed delivery between those 2 cities will capture a section of that market, and governments today are entrusted to remove trucks from the road. And that's the same in Italy. I don't know how many trucks you have on the road between Milan and Roma, but I'm sure you get a lot. And there's clearly a market here. And in terms of right-of-way, we can follow the highway between those 2 major cities and get off some trucks out of that. So first application cargo, around by the time the line is built, we're expecting the first line to be operational between 2025 and 2030. And then as agencies will see that transportation system working for a few years, then we'll get the passenger version. Now, as we're thinking about the passengers too as well, I'll just show you a video to explain or show you how the passenger experience may look like. So that's for you. Yeah. So like I the mic. Hello? Yeah. So like I said, it's similar to an aircraft configuration. So we're talking vehicles where you can, in economic class, you will have between 20 to 30 passengers, and then you can have different configuration based on the price you want. So this is the economic class, similar to what we can have on an aircraft. So that's the tube infrastructure in the pipeline. That could be the business class. And something interesting to know as well is that we want to make sure that people won't be claustrophobic inside the pod. And we're working with a startup company, Italian startup company actually, which is based in Como, which is building some fake windows, and his kind of his slogan is building the sky. So clearly you don't have that impression to see a screen, you really have the impression to be within a 360 environment. And then same, you can have some private pod, okay, where you can have your own design for wealthy people, or even in terms of a business model. You could rent that during your trip between Milan and Roma, depending on whatever you want to have. So we've tried to represent different configuration, which could be family time. We'll have business time moving forward, or even having a small party with friends. So something you need to understand is that when I said at the beginning that it will change the way we commute, you can go for dinner in Roma in the evening and come back at the same day. So it's kind of shrinking distances. It will bring to people what internet brought to information. So you'll be able clearly to live further away from one city and work every day. It's the same amount of time it will take to travel through that system, that the amount of time you spend in traffic. And you can make it useful, like it's shown on the video, to do some work and being more efficient in your day-to-day life. Quick dinner, 30 minutes dinner. Just to finish as a conclusion, just for people which might be skeptic, having in mind that a startup company can't just build a vehicle, and again, we're not talking about a full aircraft, that's the size of a bus. Our objective within TransPod is to partner with industrials which got the expertise, and I'm proud we just closed the deal a few weeks ago with some Italian investors and companies, so which are based in Bari and Monopoly and Pisa as well. So two main companies, Mermec, which got expertise in the railway industry, Citael as well. So those two companies are part of the Angelo group, and Citael got expertise in microsatellites. So today, when I'm talking about integration, we'll take expertise and system from the railway industry, from the space industry, from the aerospace industry, and there is also some aspect as well from the nuclear industry. And that Qualux, they're based in Como. It's a nice system. It's even beyond a transportation application. You can use it. They're trying to sell it for hospital. It's really creating the sky in some rooms. You can buy it for your basement if you want, and you really have the impression to see the sky behind it. So it's not the first time I'm in Italy. I am in Italy. It's not going to be the last time, and I'm pretty proud to partner with that country. And moving forward, I'm sure we'll have some interest from the government as well to remove trucks from the road as a start. Thank you very much.
Sebastien Gendron, thank you so much. One question, Sebastien.
Yes,
Let me ask you, don't escape.
No.
Give me an example. If I want to go from Milan to Rome, for instance, with Hyperloop, how long would it take to go potentially?
Less than an hour. So for people we see, you may see in the news, 30 minutes. 30 minutes, it's at top speed, okay? So 1,200 kilometers an hour. So as you need some time to accelerate, and you may all have that questions, how it's going to feel, how the body will feel, how that's going to acceleration will be crazy and so on. No. Acceleration will be the same as what you can feel in the subway. So we're talking about 0.1 g. So it's a smooth ride. So you need 50 kilometers to achieve the maximum speed.
All right, okay.
Okay, and same for deceleration. So to answer your questions, my answer is less than an hour. By the time you go to top speed and then you decelerate, just to have a smooth ride.
And can I ask you another stupid question?
No, yeah, and just before the next one, clearly the objective is to get that ride as comfortable as possible.
Nice. And the stupid question is, how do you stop? I mean, because it goes fast. So,
yeah. So
how do you stop the thing?
You don't.
And you just
you go straight.
How do you?
So same as the acceleration phase. So engines we're working on today are what we call linear induction motors. So it's based on electromagnetic field, and you can reverse the polarity and then reverse the force. So the acceleration you have to go to that top speed, the deceleration is the same. So 0.11 g, and you decelerate smoothly until you stop.
Fantastic. Sebastien Gendron, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Thank
Sebastien.
you. Thanks a lot.